Hey, happy Thursday. I'm coming from y'all. I'm coming to y'all a whole hot mess. Okay. You can see we're in my messy playroom. My hair's a hot mess, but I just want to show up authentically because I feel like that's so important, right? Um my youngest is playing in the background. And you'll probably hear Curious George because we are watching PBS Kids right now. But I just wanted to come on and kind of share, I guess, sort of a funny story. Um, oh, and if you're watching live, come say hi. If you watch the replay, please hashtag replay. I will respond to all the comments. But I wanted to um, come on here and share a funny story, or at least I think it's funny. Maybe I just have a weird sense of humor. But, uh oh, bud, thank you. Um, But so on Tuesday night, I actually ended up in the ER for abdominal pain. And this was I've had 3 C-sections. When I tell you, this was up there. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was up there. I was convinced. You say hi. Say hi. I was convinced. When I tell you convinced, I was like, this is it. My appendix is rupturing. I'm going to have surgery. Literally jumped to the worst case scenario. Hi. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to manage? What am I, how are my husband and 3 kids going to manage? What's the recovery time like? We're supposed to go to Disney in 2.5 weeks. Oh my goodness, am I still gonna be able to do that? We're going for my middle son's 3rd birthday. Am I gonna ruin his birthday? Literally, worst case scenario, jumping to all these conclusions, right? So then they run the test. Don't eat that. Then they run the test and do a CT scan, and they're like, yeah, it turns out you're just full of poop. So, and I just had to laugh. It wasn't funny in the moment, obviously, but it was funny. Hi. It was funny looking back because I was like, how often do I do that? I literally jumped to the absolute worst case scenario. It is going to be the most horrible thing. And how often is that right? Very little. I can count on one hand. I can think of maybe 2 instances in my life where it really was worst case scenario, and it still wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So anyway, it got me thinking, that mindset of being in the worst case scenario, turns out I'm just full of poop, which is a very mild, nothing is, clearly I'm okay. They gave me some stuff to help that is basically very mild, right? Not really anything to worry about. And I was like, wow, I do that so much. I am always boom, worst case scenario. And I got me thinking, man, what would my life be like if I let all the what ifs and the scary and the fear of figuring out what this freelancing thing could be like? What if I let the worst case scenario of that, oh, I'll never make this work. We're going to, you know, I'm going to have to go back to corporate and blah blah blah. What if I let the scary take over and I never took the jump? And I just think about that, and to me it's crazy because I don't even want to think about where I would be, because I can tell you it'd probably be working a corporate job that I hated and was miserable at, and it would probably mean that I would not have 3 babies because the cost of daycare is astronomical. And I say that as somebody with an early childhood background. Our daycare workers absolutely deserve to be paid what they're worth. I just want to put that out there. But the daycare cost is astronomical, and it just broke my heart. It broke my heart. So it was I it was a good lesson for me, an expensive lesson because I'm now gonna have an ER bill. But I better safe than sorry. I'm glad I went. But that whole worst case scenario. So it just got me thinking. It was like, wow, if I would have let that kind of take over my life, where would I be now? And so with that being said, I really want, if you're like super serious about making this freelance mama thing work, I want you today to commit, like write it in the comments, even if you're hashtag replay. What can you commit to doing today, like one thing to take another step in your freelance mama journey? And maybe if you aren't sure, some ideas are like I have some tutorials on YouTube. I have some lives in the group um, that you can go watch. I have some resources on my website that you can go to. I'm trying to think. Resources, YouTube, or even if it's just like brainstorming, like go back and rewatch the video from Tuesday morning where it kind of talks about how we can get started and what we need to do to get our first client in 30 days. Start brainstorming. Like take a baby step. And I don't want you to be like me and like if you really want to do this but you're scared and like let that fear of worst case scenario hold you back, because I can't imagine like where I would be if I did. So I think having accountability and committing to one thing, even if it is just like something small, like watch a training video, watch a 5-minute training video, brainstorm for 10 minutes. Like, I want you, if you like really want to do this, I want you to commit to something in the comments, and then I will actually put a reminder on my phone and I will follow back up with you next week. I'll like put a reminder, and that way you'll have some accountability, because accountability, of course, the baby picks the loudest toy to play with. I'm sure y'all hear all the chaos going on. Hi, yeah, you're cute. Um, but anyway, I want you to like commit to something, and I want to support you however I can. So, um, I just put in something you're gonna do this week, and it could be something small, it could be something big. Like Carissa, she like took the leap and she's like, oh, I grabbed my starter bundle, and we're meeting next week. It doesn't have to be a leap. It could be a small baby step. Like I said, watching a YouTube training. I have some on my YouTube channel, which I don't know. I'll link here, and then have some resources on the website of what you know to like help you get started, of what you need to get started. Brainstorming. Go back and watch the lives. There's so many different things that you can do to just like start moving yourself in the direction. And then I find too, when I'm like nervous or scared, or I'm like, oh, I don't know. Sorry, my computer's like shaking. It's balancing on my nugget, on the nugget couch. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, small. I think that's where I was going with it. Small baby steps. Like, oh, once you start doing small little things, it becomes easier and less scary, and it kind of starts to snowball. So, like I said, if you like are like, yes, I want to really give this a try and commit to making it work, commit to a small action, and I will keep you accountable. I'll check in with you next week of what you can do to start making this less scary and making this less like, oh my gosh, worst case scenario. Okay, so, and I'm here to support you, of course. But I just wanted to pop one really quickly, really informally. Clear, like seriously, this is where I'm working from today. But I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. It's almost Friday, which means nothing for us moms. But I hope you have a great rest of the week. Like I said, please pop your commitment in the comments. I will come back and check with you next week to keep you accountable, or I'm here to answer any questions in the meantime. Please, please, please feel free to reach out or post in the group. I'm more than happy to help. So, hope everyone has a great rest of the week.